Two more tweets we're going to do from Nina Turner. 2023 is officially the fourth calendar year that student debt payments have been paused. If they can be paused that long, they should be canceled.
Gotta love the 104,000 likes for this.
And again, this is the sort of thing where, again, if you're sitting there with student debt, there's a high degree of probability you like what she has to say here. But let's look at the underlying presupposition. Okay, so it's been caused for several years, and if it can be paused, then it can be canceled, because the argument is well, obviously we don't need this money. Now, keep in mind, this is the same Nina Turner that wants a bunch more spending on housing and a bunch more spending on, insulin and a bunch more spending on healthcare and a bunch more spending on welfare. Like, she wants all this additional spending, and yet she's saying, but we should cancel this hundreds of billions of dollars worth of college debt. Oh, by the way, a lot of that college debt went to people that, quite frankly, let's just say on average, might be in a better position to pay that loan over time than somebody that she claims that she wants to help with insulin prices and with welfare and with housing and everything else. But it's worse than that. You can cancel the debt in the sense that you can go to the person that voluntarily took out the debt, because that's what happened here. They voluntarily said, yes, I want to go to college. The federal government is offering me tax money to be able to do that. I'm going to go ahead and take that money to go to college, and theoretically, I'm then going to get a degree which will provide me enough economic value to where I'll be able to pay for my own lifestyle at the same time that I'll be able to pay off this debt. And what we found now is that tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of students took the money, went to college, got out and found that their degree was not as valuable in the marketplace than they anticipated, or they might have even been told. And now they're saying, oh my gosh, I've got $50,000 in college debt, and I can't get a job paying me more than $35,000 a year. That's not livable. I shouldn't have to pay back this loan. Okay, on a basic fairness schedule, the basic fairness definition, we would look at something like this, like, okay, I'm willing to hear you out. I understand that you're in a bad financial situation as a result of this educational debt that you voluntarily took, but you did take it voluntarily, right? All right, and you did choose to spend it the way that you spent it on the degree that you chose to get, right? Okay, and there is cost associated with it. Like, the college got its money. The college got its money. You got the money that you wanted to give to the college to get the degree, right? So all of this was a voluntary transaction. Nobody forced anybody to do anything. Is that correct? Yes. Okay. So the money has been given. The money has been spent. So when you say cancel the debt, you don't mean cancel the debt as if, poof, it goes away and it no longer exists. What you mean is you want to transfer the debt onto somebody else.
Onto somebody like me. Can I just say, Nick?
Well, let me finish.
What you said was a lot more kind than what I would have to say.
I'm just gonna, and I'm wording it this way on purpose, is I want everyone to understand what is actually going on here. Forget for a second how nice this might sound, because I get it. If you're someone that's sitting there with $50,000 in college debt, I understand why you might be frustrated.
No, if you're somebody like me that paid off all my student loans, this doesn't sound nice at all. You know what this sounds like? This sounds like F you, Christian.
Yeah.
And to the millions of people that paid off their student loans.
I get it. We're getting to that point. Let me build up. The story has a build, all right?
I'm sorry. I'm just so upset about this.
That's like, if you're looking at all this, you're thinking to yourself, well, yeah, they haven't made me pay it, and this turned out to not be the good deal that I was told it would be, and I feel some righteous indignation at the fact that now I can't even get my life started, even though I did what I was supposed to do, right? I went to college, I got a degree, and now it's not. Here's why it's not fair. Here's why what she is talking about is horribly unfair and unjust. And it's because what Christian just said is that, again, you voluntarily took it out. It might have been a bad decision, but my gosh, if you're an adult and you're claiming that you can do all these other responsibilities as an adult and you can take out this loan, well, then you bear responsibility for it, because you can't cancel it. You can only transfer it onto people that didn't take out the loan. They made a different life decision for whatever reason. It might have been that they wanted to avoid college debt, or it might have been that they took that debt and then they paid it off because that's what they said they would do. Or it might be that they chose a career path that put them in a position to be able to financially sustain both their lifestyle and the debt repayments. But you didn't. You didn't. And I'm sorry, it's a hard lesson and it sucks, but you don't get to transfer it onto somebody else and then pretend that you're just. You don't get to advocate the government transferring onto someone and sit there and pretend that you're just. You're not. You're the one perpetrating injustice at this point. And what I find doubly unacceptable is that you were probably the same person that was advocating these sort of government transfer payments in the first place. You set them up for failure, and when they failed, you used their failure to your political advantage. And I'm supposed to trust you? I don't think so.
I don't want to hear a single word out of people like Nina Turner about income inequality, economic justice, any of these bogus terms that people on the left use to pretend that they are morally superior to their political opponents, when they are literally advocating for millions of people who paid off their student loan debt in full.
Yeah.
To now take on the burden of paying off somebody else's student loan debt. Guess what I was told? I was told go to college. I was told take out a bunch of student loan debt. I was told, guess what? You got to pay it off after you take it out. And guess what I did? I did every single one of those things. And now I'm being told, get screwed. That's not what I'm being told. I'm now being told, I guess you were an idiot. You should have just waited for Joe Biden to write you a check with somebody else's money. We have gotten to a point in this country where people have now decided, you know what? It's time to pillage the treasury while there's still money left to pillage.
Yeah, 100%. And
the saddest
you know what they'll
part,
say to that, right, Christian?
Can I add one last thing?
Say to that?
Can I add one last thing to it? The saddest part is, A, they might be right that it's time to pillage the treasury while there's still money to be pillaged. But B, the saddest part about this is that they think that they are morally superior for doing so. And I'll leave it at that, Lydia. What were you gonna ask?
Yeah, you know what they'll say to that? They'll say to you, oh, you know, if someone came up with a cure to cancer, you could say then, oh, I fought cancer the hard way. No one else should be entitled to have this kind of cancer treatment. And I found that argument to be so particularly insidious because it tugs at the heartstrings. It's kind of interesting, but the fact of the matter is that a cancer treatment is not a voluntary college education. In fact, the people who are benefiting from this loan repayment nonsense are the richest people in the US, or they should be by rights. People who are college educated have a better opportunity to earn more money. Now, admittedly, a lot of them choose degrees that don't earn them good incomes, but that's on them. And this, to me, just smells like the dereliction of responsibility that we're seeing in every aspect of life. And just before we move on, I just wanted to throw that out there because I hate the cancer treatment argument.
2 points. I love that Lydia brought this up. To add on to what Lydia said, first off, one of the things that I see a lot on the internet, and for our audience, they probably see it too if they're on Twitter or they're on Facebook or really anywhere online. I love when the left brings up, oh, so what you're saying is, well, I beat cancer, so nobody else should be. Let's say that we come up with a treatment to cure cancer, or at least one type of cancer. The left will then say, oh, so you're saying that somebody that fought through and survived this, well, because they went through all the hard work to fight it, we shouldn't give this treatment to anybody else. No, that's a terrible, terrible comparison to caricature what I'm trying to say. Because as Lydia pointed out, nobody willingly chooses to have cancer.
Yeah.
People willingly chose to go to university. People willingly chose to take on student loan debt. It wasn't like the universe asked you, Jim, I see that you checked the form asking that we give you cancer. Yeah. That's not how this works. But more importantly, there is an entire political movement in this country that is predicated on the idea that responsibility is a bad thing. And we are going to absolve you of responsibility. And anybody telling you that you have responsibility for anything, they're the bad guys. No, the people that are saying responsibility doesn't exist and it's just a moral construct are the bad guys. Because guess what? That's how you get civilization to collapse. Yeah. Because when the barbarians are at the gates, the people who think responsibility is a inherently morally evil thing are the people that are going to be responsible for the Gauls sacking Rome. they are going to be the ones responsible for the collapse of the very things that have allowed them to sit in their moral ivory towers and lecture the rest of society about how they are inherently better people.